Someone you trust looks you dead in the eyes and says, "That never happened. You imagined it." And the terrifying part, for a moment, you believe them. Gaslighting isn't just manipulation, it's a surgical dismantling of your reality. By the end, I'll reveal the exact psychological anchor test used by trauma therapists to expose gaslighters in real time. We'll expose 3 core mechanisms gaslighters use. First, reality erosion, how they rewrite your memories. Second, identity destabilization, how they make you doubt who you are. Third, isolation engineering, how they sever your support systems. These aren't accidents, they're a blueprint. And the most chilling revelation waits at the very end, the anchor test that changes everything. You replay conversations in the shower. You think, am I too sensitive? Did I overreact? You apologize constantly, not because you're wrong, but because the alternative feels unbearable. That relentless self-questioning isn't weakness, it's the first symptom. Gaslighting victims don't feel dramatically broken. They feel quietly, persistently confused. That confusion is the wound, deliberately inflicted, meticulously maintained. The psychological damage compounds silently. A 2018 study published in the journal Personality and Individual Differences found that chronic self-doubt induced by interpersonal manipulation physically reduces activity in the prefrontal cortex, the brain region governing rational judgment. The gaslighter doesn't just make you feel wrong. They neurologically impair your ability to trust your own mind. The weapon is invisible. The wound is real. But here's where psychology reveals something disturbing. Gaslighters are rarely cartoonish villains. Research by psychologist Jennifer Freyd on betrayal trauma shows the most effective gaslighters are people you love, partners, parents, close friends. Your brain, desperate to protect the attachment bond, will choose cognitive distortion over abandonment. You don't just get manipulated, you unconsciously cooperate with your own manipulation. That is the mechanism's true horror. Mechanism 1, reality erosion. The gaslighter attacks your memory with surgical precision. You're remembering it wrong. That's not what I said. You always exaggerate. Psychologist Elizabeth Loftus demonstrated in 1974 that human memory is reconstructive, not reproductive, meaning memories can be rewritten with persistent suggestion. The gaslighter exploits this biological vulnerability deliberately, turning your own mind into an unreliable witness against yourself. Mechanism 2, identity destabilization. Beyond memory, gaslighters attack your self-concept. You've always been too emotional. Nobody else would put up with you. You're lucky I understand you. These phrases aren't random insults. They're calculated rewrites of your identity narrative. Psychologist Dan McAdams established that humans construct selfhood through internal stories. Corrupt the story, and you corrupt the self. The gaslighter becomes the unauthorized editor of your most intimate document. Mechanism 3, isolation engineering. No gaslighter can sustain reality control while outside voices counter their narrative, so they systematically sever your connections. Your friends don't really care about you. Your family never understood you like I do. This isn't jealousy, it's infrastructure removal. By eliminating external reality checks, the gaslighter becomes your sole source of truth. In psychological terms, they manufacture an epistemic monopoly over your entire perceived reality. Recognize the behavioral signatures. Track these 5 warning patterns. 1. You frequently apologize without understanding why. 2. You feel confused after most conversations with this person. 3. You make excuses for their behavior to others. 4. You feel worse about yourself since knowing them. 5. you second-guess memories you were previously certain of. If 3 or more apply simultaneously, this is not a personality clash. This is a pattern. Wait, because the darkest part is coming. The reason gaslighting is so devastatingly effective isn't simply a manipulation technique. It's that the victim's own nervous system becomes complicit. When trauma bonds form, the brain releases oxytocin in the presence of the abuser. The same chemical responsible for love and trust floods your system during conflict. You become neurochemically addicted to the person dismantling you. This is not weakness. This is neuroscience. How do you protect yourself? The first tool: externalize your reality immediately. Write down events in real time, dates, words spoken, your emotional state. Gaslighting collapses without documentary evidence. The gaslighter's power lives in the gap between your memory and theirs. Eliminate that gap. A locked journal or private digital note becomes an external hard drive for your reality when your internal hard drive is under attack. Second protection mechanism: maintain what therapists call reality anchors. Trusted people outside the relationship who knew you before the manipulation began. Their perception of you functions as a baseline. When your sense of self becomes distorted, their consistent memory of who you are provides corrective data. Isolation is the gaslighter's oxygen. Connection is the antidote. Preserve even one outside relationship with ferocious intentionality. Third mechanism of defense: name the behavior in the moment, calmly, specifically, without accusation. When you tell me my memory is wrong, I feel confused and dismissed. This linguistic maneuver does 2 things. It refuses the gaslighter's narrative reframe, and it documents your psychological state out loud. Gaslighting operates in silence and ambiguity. Naming it precisely, even to yourself, is an act of radical psychological resistance. In 1971, psychiatrist Richard Gardner documented one of the earliest clinical cases of systematic gaslighting within family systems, later expanding into what we now recognize as coercive control. But the experiment that changed everything came from social psychologist Solomon Asch in 1951. Asch demonstrated that 75% of people will deny the evidence of their own eyes when a group unanimously contradicts them. Gaslighters weaponize this conformity instinct with devastating precision. The anchor test used by trauma therapists: ask yourself one question about a disputed memory. What did I feel in my body in that moment? Gaslighters can rewrite what you saw, what you heard, what you said. But somatic memory, the felt sense stored in your nervous system, is extraordinarily resistant to narrative manipulation. Your body kept the score before Bessel van der Kolk wrote the book. Your nervous system is your most reliable witness. The most dangerous thing about gaslighting isn't the liar. It's the silence you maintain to protect them. Your confusion was manufactured. Your doubt was engineered. Your nervous system remembers what they tried to erase. Trust it. If you want to understand the human mind without filters, subscribe. Tomorrow, we reveal the manipulation pattern every narcissist repeats in the first 90 days. What would change if you had always trusted yourself completely?